takes the timeout. They're out of timeout. Technical foul. Technical foul.
Welcome to the podcast. I am Mark Titus. Across from me is Tate Frazier. Over there is producer Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
Flying high. We're not going to give him a microphone. We're not going to do that on this podcast. Producer Kyle doesn't like to talk. Tate.
Yes.
College basketball is officially here. There were the thing that jumped out to me in the first games was...
Oh, we're doing reactions already. We're jumping right into this.
We're jumping out.
It's like when you go to the deep end of a pool and you just jump right in. You don't try no tippy-toeing around.
We're cannonball in. There were a lot of I don't know if this happens every year and I just don't notice it, but I started checking scores because I was watching some games, not watching others. I'm checking scores. There are a lot of teams scoring 100 points. Like New Mexico scored 147 points in a game, and I know that they played. I don't know who they played, but like these teams are playing like NAIA Division 5.
Yes.
God knows who. Like they don't even. The comment I made to you earlier was I pull up my little score app and you got the logos next to all these teams.
Yeah.
And they're playing teams with no logos.
It's
and
the
that's
NA.
how you know.
They're not available. You think it's a school? You're like, who's
That's
NA?
how you
North
know.
America?
And
No, not available.
And you got like Middle Tennessee blew somebody out too.
Yeah.
But there's also like games where just teams are scoring a ton of points and it's I don't know. It doesn't feel that weird.
I saw Purdue put up 111 points against. I thought it was Chico State. No lie, and I have it in front of me. It was Chicago State. Sorry to Chico State, but I thought it was them. They put up 111 points. If Purdue's putting up 111 points, a team that you're always wondering how they would score. It's like we got these guards that can't really score and a bunch of big men. It's a weird year in college basketball. Basically,
it's been crazy so far. So what? To you, I guess, like, first of all, let's go through some games. Let's just hit specific games that you watch. We're going to get to the Champions Classic. I know a lot of people listening to this saw the Champions Classic last night. First game was pretty good. Second game was close, is how we would describe it. We would not say good. Let's save our thought, but yeah, go ahead, say what you guys say.
I'm going to save it for later.
All right.
It's a big picture thought. That's my big picture thought.
We're going to do a little tease and hold off on the Champions Classic because I know that's what we want to talk about. But we got to pay attention to other teams in this country. And
first up, can I just say this?
What?
SEC. SEC.
Yes. I had this. Yeah, I had this written down. SEC. Big year for the SEC. Big year for talk about how the SEC is good.
This isn't your grandma's SEC, all right?
But is the SEC good?
No.
Is it?
Let's just be honest. So right now, as it stands, the SEC has now lost 2 games. The Big Ten has lost 1 game as a conference. Yeah. So. I mean, Transitive Property says...
That's not true. The Big Ten lost Michigan State. And
that's right. Michigan State also lost. Okay.
Yeah, but it's
whatever. As it stands, basically, the SEC is getting pumped up, which is great. I think that they have good teams. We have Texas A&M, right? We have Florida, Georgia. Right. Kentucky's obviously going to be good. There's a bunch of teams in the SEC we're excited to watch. Vanderbilt. We're going to talk about them later.
About Vanderbilt in a second. So I think what's going on here, and as Tate's... As we're alluding to, that the SEC is getting a lot of attention. You maybe watching these broadcasts, and SEC's team is playing.
It's the fun nugget this year to be like, and watch out for the SEC.
Yeah, we show the graphic of like, here are my top 10 teams. This happened during the Kentucky-Vermont game. They threw up like that. Here are the top 10 teams in the SEC, and where do we draw the line as to who's going to make the tournament?
Who's in, who's out? Lenardi, where are you?
I think what's going on here is just that we're so used to 2 things happening. 1, the SEC not having a good conference.
Yes.
And 2, Kentucky being much better than everybody in the conference. And this year we have question marks about Kentucky that we'll get to in a bit. And the other part is the SEC does have good teams. It's just
and good players.
Are like is it really worth kind of the overwhelming excitement that everyone has?
I think it started with the Ben Simmons when Ben Simmons went to LSU. It was like, watch out. The SEC's buying into basketball. And it sort of happened with baseball with SEC too. Like when South Carolina was winning in like 2010. And
it's the carryover effect from last year's tournament. We had Florida was in the Elite Eight. South Carolina's in the Elite
obviously.
Eight. Kentucky had
South
a good
Carolina's
run.
Final Four.
Yeah, South Carolina went to the Final Four. Who else was in it? We're forgetting. That doesn't matter. Is there one more?
Sorry, SEC. Well, that's what we stand for.
We just had a brain freeze. So SEC is off to a good start. Everyone's going to talk about that. So let's get into specific SEC games.
Yes.
To me, the game of the first weekend, going into the first weekend, was Texas A&M, West Virginia in Germany.
Just say that again. Because that is so amazing. Just all
the game
that
for
together.
me going
that
into
sounds
the
like
first
a word
weekend of
scrabble,
college
and you just put it
basketball
together. You're like, wow, that sounds strange.
Was Texas A&M, West Virginia, in Germany.
In Germany, those three places should never be in a sentence.
By the way,
did
you watch that game?
Yeah. Did you? Let's be honest. I watched the second half. I'm sorry, West Virginia fans.
That's okay. That's the fun part about our podcast. We are not going to watch every game. Some of it, I'm going to watch.
I don't have the time zone of Germany. I don't have everything locked down.
So there's a thing that they did. So it was on the military base in Germany, and Jay Williams and was it Greenberg? I think it was just they only showed Jay Williams.
I'm pretty sure
he put on the big suit. They did the German Shepherd dogs. They let him come attack him, and they put on the big suit, and they had to waddle. And I was laughing my ass off. One of these German Shepherds launches himself 20 yards and just takes down Jay Williams and falls on his ass. It was great. It was great TV.
We've done that so many times, in
TV.
television history. I don't understand. It's like a trope that everyone wants to do. It's like, how about we get these dogs to attack?
Because it's funny.
It's always funny.
It's always funny.
And obviously, strikes a chord in Germany. They've probably seen it a lot of times over the years.
That was probably the highlight of the game for me because Texas A&M beat the brakes off of West Virginia. And what happened?
Which is concerning. I'm
going to give you the rundown of what happened. West Virginia put on the press. It was working at first. Texas A&M does not have their point guard. They don't have Robert Williams either, their lottery pick. They're kind of scrambling, trying to figure it out. They looked a little surprised that West Virginia was pressing almost.
Way to go, Billy Kennedy.
And then, a snap of a finger, they figure out that if you just calm down and don't freak out, you can get easy shots against the press. You can also, the other thing, if you limit West Virginia's transition opportunities, their half-court offense is garbage.
And it always has been.
And this has always been the MO on West Virginia. And it just kind of, it took 8 minutes for the Aggies to figure that out. And then once they did, they just kind of killed them. So
Texas A&M is a legitimate team, which is good to see.
Yep.
My question to you about the SEC, we talked about a lot of games, obviously. Have you watched Georgia play? Has Georgia even played yet? I want to watch Mark Fox coach a game. I want to see if he's, first of all, is he still at Georgia?
Still Georgia's coach?
We don't know. What's this Mateen guy about? Yancey Mateen, right? That's his name?
Yeah.
I want to watch him play more. I watched him play at the end of the season last year when they were trying to sneak into the tournament. I didn't see enough of him, so I want to watch him play. Florida, I think they're better than Mike White in Florida. They're just so no one's even talked about them.
This
right?
is how the SEC operates: is that we know about the Kentucky people, but we never know about the other.
And it's not fair. I want to know.
Nobody knows K'Von Allen's name at
us.
Florida. No one knows who this guy is, and we know Porter. I guess in Missouri, he's SEC, but it's always
he's not even SEC. He's
we don't
bigger.
Count those. Yeah, but there's always Bobby Portis at Arkansas was a great example. I remember I didn't know who Bobby Portis was the year he was killing until February.
Yeah,
and then it was Bobby Portis. He's you're gonna be a top 15 pick. You could be lottery pick. And I was like, what?
How about that Arkansas team against Carolina last year? I started seeing all these guys. I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
He's going to play in the NBA,
I don't know whose fault this is, but yeah, these SEC guys.
I blame the SEC Network.
They're
taking us away from prime time.
For sure. So the other SEC game, I kind of brought up Porter of note is Missouri beat Iowa State pretty easily. Missouri is kind of the question mark team. A lot of people are lumping this Michael Porter going to a non-blue blood thing in with the Markelle Fultz, in with the Ben Simmons, and saying
he's of that class.
I'm not even going to bother caring about him because I already know how this story ends. Missouri actually so far looks better than those other two teams, other than LSU with Simmons and Washington. Certainly better than Washington with Fultz.
So Quanzo Martin, we know Quanzo. I think Quanzo's a pretty good coach. I mean, we joke around all the time about him dropping the bag and being a top recruiter, all that stuff. But I think he does have things in order as far as coaching his team. I want to know what's going on with the Porter situation. He plays 2 minutes, has 2 points.
Yeah.
They pull him out. Quanzo pulls him out,
weird.
Sits him. But he's super happy the whole time, right?
Yeah.
He's still doing the I'm Jeter, I'm smiling, I'm always happy. I'm a good guy. I'm going to get my Q scores up. I got to market these shoes for Nike pretty soon. I got things to do. And then he sits out this next game against they played Wagner.
Yeah.
My God.
Wagner.
Well, he sits out this game, so is he going to do the Ben Simmons thing where he breaks my heart, where I don't even get to watch him play, and he's just waiting it out?
And I don't know.
What is going on here?
There's no way of knowing. We don't know. We don't know. That's the question. Is Michael Porter? Is he going to play this year?
Is Michael Porter Jr. going to play?
Is he going to play?
Is Jonte Porter going to play? I guess Jonte is playing.
Jonte's playing. Missouri, they look good in the first game. They have a better supporting cast than I guess I realized. But yeah,
no, they have 3 players that are really good.
But let's be honest, I'm not going to watch them unless Michael Porter's playing or they start beating good teams. So we got to figure that out. So yeah, SEC is rolling along. Any other games you want to talk about before we get to the Champions Classic?
I just want to talk about some teams that have really impressed me.
Okay, yeah, let's do
Miami, Florida.
Miami's very good. I think they could win the
If
ACC.
you haven't watched Miami play, please watch them.
Like the new look Duke era, whatever 0.0 this is for Krzyzewski as he's transitioned like his style. This new era of one and done guys at Duke never wins the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we know about them.
Yes.
Duke has not won the ACC title, regular season title, since 2010. So I don't believe in North Carolina this year.
We should mention, just while we're on top of North Carolina, if you didn't watch, Luke May dominated.
Luke
the
May
team
is
looks
National Player of the
great.
Year.
They look very deep. Seventh Woods and Kenny Williams. If you haven't watched them play, please go check them out.
Who they play?
Northern Iowa. A team that's going to be in the NCAA tournament. So check it out. Paul Jesperson, if you're listening.
Is that the Northern Iowa? Was that the Marcus Page?
Yeah, that was the Marcus Page deal where we give him 3 years. Like I was so upset. I actually didn't tweet it because I was like, I don't want to deal with the Marcus Page backlash. But like, why are we playing this team? Like, I'm tired. We've had enough. I have Iowa fatigue.
You have Iowa fatigue. So I don't even remember what I was talking about before. Oh, the ACC. I think Duke is not going to win just because I'm going off the same pattern of like they're the tournament. Yeah, they're going to struggle early in the ACC. Carolina, I don't believe in. I've made my stance clear on that. Louisville has like the issues with. I don't know if you've heard.
Some things have
happened in Louisville, we'll say.
Some things have occurred.
So I think Miami's got a chance here. Am I crazy for that? You like Miami?
I love teams in Florida, like in the ACC.
In general, Florida State.
Miami. I think
they
can all make a
Florida,
run.
the Gator. Like we love them.
Speaking of, Florida State hadn't played a game until Monday night. Or Tuesday night.
Wait, what?
They haven't literally played a basketball game? What is going on? It's like they were just like holding out. They're like, we're going to wait and see what everyone else is doing, and then we're going to jump in this whole thing.
They were thinking maybe they would get the call for the Champions Classic or something. They were keeping that.
Hopefully. But I will say this about Miami. They have Huell. They have Bruce Brown. They have Jaquan Newton. They have like Lonnie Walker, this freshman. They have like 5 or 6 guys. When you watch them play, they put in like a new team, and you're confused.
Right.
You're almost jarred at the fact that they have 6 new guys. And it makes a lot of sense. Like with this whole Adidas thing going on, I'm like, after I looked at their whole team, I'm like, hell yeah, they dropped some bags. This team looks awesome.
You and I were on a Cousin Sal's podcast talking about Against All Odds, talking about future betting, or I don't bet. So I don't know what the phrasing words are. The futures.
I have no money to bet, but like I have to like do research to figure out what are the best bets. It's really sad.
I don't know how to phrase it in betting terms, but we're going over the odds of the national title, and both of us picked Miami as like our long shot, and we were explaining to him defense and guard play, and that's what
I think it was 66-1 when we said that.
Defense and guard play, and that's the same thing that we're going to hammer home all season with Miami is defense and guard play, and that's why they're fun to watch. That's why they're good. That's why we believe in them.
And another team that we did in that podcast, we said that Villanova, which was 28 they were 28-1 at the time, and we moved the line to 10-1.
This happens every year with like the Champions Classic. We get lured into caring about
Kentucky,
4 teams,
Kansas,
that are playing in
Duke, and then like Michigan State's like the throw, and we're like, we should care about them because Izzo's a good guy.
Is great.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great team. Wichita State is actually kind of great right now.
Yes.
They have a very good. They
maybe
beat the
best team
out
in the
of
country.
Charleston. Like Charlie going into that game. No, like seriously, you're laughing. Tate's laughing because he doesn't follow mid-major basketball like I do. No, I'm a mid-major giant. Why are you laughing?
I just love Wichita State talk. It's great. God, people really come for that. They're
people
dying
love
Wichita.
For that. No, Wichita State. Charleston was supposed to be good. Wichita State beat the hell out of them, and like they beat them so badly that it's going to devalue the win because people are going to say Charleston.
I felt bad for
sucks.
Andrew Gowdlock who was watching that game. He's like, "Where's the College of Charleston I know?"
So we're losing the track. So any other games? You like Miami game?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about UCLA Georgia Tech? That seems like an important game that we should talk about.
Should we talk about off the court or on the court?
Let's do the off the court thing first.
Okay, so they're calling them the UCLA 3 now. Everyone, the nicknames are great. They're the best. The UCLA 3, they all got locked up abroad. They were in a Louis Vuitton store. And this is all reported stuff. They're in a Louis Vuitton store, sunglass shop, next to the hotel.
Right.
My God. Grab the sunglasses.
It was sunglasses?
It's LiAngelo Ball and insert 2 names. We're not like
nobody knows. Does anybody know? Everybody listen to this. I challenge you without looking it up. Just stop for a second and name one other person involved in this other than LiAngelo Ball.
I've just been saying Bryce Alford and Lonzo Ball because like they're not there anymore, so I just throw them in.
TJ Leaf,
anyone that's left UCLA in the past year.
Reeves Nelson, everybody hates him.
Travis
from
Ware,
UCLA.
David Ware,
they hated the Reeves Nelson.
Someone from UCLA. So that happens. They steal the sunglasses. In China, this is all recording reports, they don't play around. I did know that they don't mess around. Like, they're basically running Hammurabi's code, which is like a hand for a hand. So if you steal something, we're going to chop your hand off. So they could go to jail, reportedly, 6 to 12 years for this Louis Vuitton theft.
Right.
All right. They have to stay in the hotel. They play the game. 3 of these guys sit out. Obviously, it didn't affect UCLA that much. They still win the game. They have to stay in China. Team flies back to LA. Steve Alford, all these guys are getting questions. It's like a huge national. It is literally like,
dude,
the UN's involved.
They just got off the plane at LAX, and like you would act like the Beatles landed, and it's so funny.
Did anyone talk to the other 2 guys?
No, it says like the headlines always say LiAngelo Ball, who, by the way, probably not even that good of a basketball player. This Ball, isn't he like the
yes,
the third
he's the
ball?
middle ball.
He's the third ball, the middle ball.
The middle ball.
Yeah.
No, there's one more younger ball that's better.
He's the ball that So you got Lonzo Ball, he's a good ball. You got the little ball that you like, and then you got the third ball. You want to get that checked out and taken care of. You don't want the third ball.
You don't want 3 balls.
You don't want 3 balls. And this kid, they're making like the biggest deal out of him. This is wild. Wild.
Here's what I'm going to throw at you. You got this situation. You got a guy. You got a businessman, right?
Okay.
Deshaun Puffy Combs of basketball,
okay.
LeVar Ball. He's like, I got Lonzo. I spoke it into existence. I got him to the LA Lakers. I got him as the point guard of the Lakers. That's what I wanted, the new Magic Johnson. I got LaMelo. I believe in LaMelo's talent. He's going to go to UCLA. He's going to be like Lonzo. But I got LiAngelo, and I don't know what to do. I know he's probably not going to be in the NBA.
I like where you're going with this. Keep going.
And I'm worried. I'm concerned. Like, how do I captivate and capture the headlines of college basketball when I have a son that's not going to dominate the game like Lonzo?
Interesting.
I commit a crime in China.
I
make the headline, Titus.
Right.
We're in a game of headlines. He made the headline.
He is probably, honestly, right now, if you ask general public, people who don't watch sports,
they know LiAngelo.
Name one college basketball player, they would name LiAngelo Ball. And that's like,
spoken into existence.
Maybe Grayson Allen, but like otherwise, yeah, that's the guy. So that theory makes a lot of sense to me. I'm a fan of that conspiracy theory. The other theory, where I thought you were going with it, was he had him commit a crime in China, so he would be locked up for the entire year. just like excommunicated.
That actually
would
have been the better plan, but
just like, oh, sorry about you. It looks like you're in jail for 30 years.
He should get drafted. Yeah. It's like the Harry Giles. You just hold him out. He's like, he's got the talent. He's got the raw potential.
So, Trump gets involved. Did Trump actually get involved, or are they just saying the government? And then anytime the government gets involved, you just throw Trump's name on it.
So the Chinese general secretary, I think, was his title. He has some sort of title. Trump apparently called him, or he was abroad. I think he was in China maybe.
Yeah.
And it was talking to him and was like, we got to free these kids.
Yeah.
These are kids. We got to. And so UCLA, the other thing about this, UCLA has huge Chinese connections, right? They market over there. They want to get people from China because, when you're a public university in California, it's kind of nice to have kids from out of state because they pay a lot more. So they're trying to, they have a whole brand to uphold at UCLA. So Trump gets involved. UCLA is obviously heavily involved. They're trying to control the narrative here, trying to make sure that people know that UCLA is a good place. And there are a lot of power players.
That's the only way for 2017 to come to an end is to have Trump and LeVar Ball.
It was the joke of the century that they would always cross paths.
Always find a way, yeah.
And now he owes Trump a favor.
That's funny.
Like he does. Like there's no way to get around it. He does. He owes him a favor.
This is awesome. This is a fun. The funny thing is the game itself actually ended up being a great game.
We didn't talk anything about the game.
We haven't talked about the game yet. Ben Lammers, who my favorite thing, I had two favorite things about the game. Number one is I love these games when they're played at neutral sites that don't host games like this a lot. So like the West Virginia game, West Virginia, Texas A&M, this applies to this as well, where you get like they had a crowd of people at the Army base, and they don't ever get to see live basketball at the Army base. So, and the same thing at the Chinese don't get to see college basketball. So what happens is you get this atmosphere where the people are cheering for any action, and they end up cheering for both teams. Mm-hmm. And that never happens under any other circumstances. And they're just oohing and ahhing at everything. There's a block on this end, and they're like, ooh, and then a block on this end, ah, and just go back and forth. That is so fun to watch. And I always turn on my TV when I'm watching that.
Well, that's what we are. It's just the unbiased fans that just want to watch.
We're
the
doing
good
that watching the Kentucky-Kansas game.
We look like idiots. Yeah. You would think we had vested interest in Kansas or Kentucky, and we're like, we really don't care. We're just having a good time.
It's fun to actually get an atmosphere like that where you don't have people booing, or I don't know. Maybe that's soft of me to say that. But,
that was soft.
To not want booing, but So there's that. The other thing that I loved about this game was Bill Walton made it clear that he had never seen Ben Lammers play basketball, and he was very, very excited that he got to see Ben Lammers play basketball on this night.
Which is unbelievable because...
As we all should be. Ben Lammers is legitimately amazing.
Down. He is a dark horse National Player of the Year candidate right now.
He's amazing.
It's either Luke May or Ben Lammers. You pick.
If you have not seen Ben Lammers play, I would recommend watching Ben Lammers play over any other person in college basketball.
And he was amazing last year. No one wanted to give him credit.
He's amazing.
The whole team, Georgia Tech last year, Josh. We should say this. Josh Pastner. They had the Georgia Tech players. I didn't even know if we've even talked about this yet. Senior Tadrick Jackson, sophomore Josh Okogie, they both come out. They're suspended, right?
We mentioned in passing that they were suspended because Pastner's buddy blackmailed
Ron
him.
Bell, yeah.
Yeah, he said, you didn't wish me happy birthday, so I'm going to blackmail you and ruin your life.
Always wish happy birthday.
Always wish your friends happy birthday. When's your birthday, Tate, by the way?
Not going to tell you.
Shit.
Now I'm going to blackmail you. For all those extra benefits. For your salary.
Damn. Yeah, so Georgia Tech was shorthanded. UCLA also was shorthanded.
Yeah.
Couple thoughts on UCLA. I don't know if you watched this game. Chris Wilkes from Indiana guy. Obviously, I love Indiana guys.
Big fan of Chris. Nice pipeline for UCLA. They get Leaf and then they get Wilkes. Nice Indiana pipeline.
You can tell Wilkes is from Indiana when you watch him shoot a basketball, and I love that.
Pure.
Those are my favorite Indiana guys. You watch him shoot, and you're like, that kid has to be from Indiana with that pure stroke. He looks like he's 45 years old, too.
He does.
I like that. The mustache and the little balding look. It's a great look.
I wanted to call it the Odin thing, but he's your friend, so we're going to come up with something else.
The Perry Ellis. Everybody does the Perry Ellis, yeah.
But I don't like that
joke.
one.
We should start that joke where you say a guy who looks old and has been around for a while and be like, what has he been here for 8 years? And then,
what is this, the Javon Carter? I'll do that one. That's the new
What
one.
is this? So, yeah, we should start that joke. No one's done that before. So Chris Wilkes, Smooth J, Thomas Welsh still's got the baseline J working. Love that. Love the 15-footer.
Don't you think Thomas Welsh, his last name was supposed to be Zeller? He got lost in the shuffle.
That's a good theory.
He looks like a Zeller.
So UCLA actually has a decent team.
No, they're good.
I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think we undervalued. We did our top 25.
Yeah,
we didn't have them in there.
They lost a lot. I don't think they're not Final Four good probably to me. I mean, they could make the Final Four, but they're not that good. But they are a very good team.
I wouldn't want to play them in the tournament if they were a 4 seed, right?
I could see them upsetting teams. I could see them beating USC and ruining USC's Pac-12 chances because they lose to UCLA.
Another team that's really good that people have not watched. Please go watch USC.
So that was one game that stood out to me. Another game was Minnesota-Providence. I just want to give a shout-out to Jordan Murphy, who was completely unguardable in that game and is just emerging as I don't know how to explain him. That dude is insane. I love him.
Yeah, I did not watch this game live. I went back to watch it because you texted me.
Because I was like,
and we were talking about Jordan Murphy, so I was like, I'm going to go watch it. Yeah, I'm going to go watch all these highlights.
The cool thing about that game was anytime you get a Murph in the New England area, a Murphy in the New England area, they just start calling him Murph out of nowhere. I don't know if Jordan Murphy has ever been called Murph in his life.
It might be an Inception thing, you know. He's they love that movie.
That feels like a Boston area thing with Murph and
it's a Southie project.
So when he's in Providence, it was kind of funny that was happening. But yeah, he was killing for Minnesota. I really like him. So
Minnesota also a team that we talked on and touched on, but they're going to be really, really good.
Minnesota, Miami is happening in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. That might be the game to watch.
Yeah. I always look at the rankings. They do the ACC Big Ten games to watch, and they rank out which one is best.
Who's Carolina have?
Michigan.
That's probably not going to be as good.
No, that's not going to be. Michigan, it might be fun, but it's not going to be. That's a 4-5 range, and that's where they have right now the Minnesota-Miami game. But that's the game. It's always one of those games.
The other game is Duke versus the Assembly Hall Magic at IU, which I
wish Duke would play a real Indiana team.
Indiana State learned a valuable lesson that no one goes into Assembly Hall and hangs 100 on the Hoosiers. The Sycamores only won by 30 or something. They learned a very valuable lesson that IU season already over. Archie Miller, we're going to start talking about him. Are we going to talk about him as being a good guy? I hope not.
I hope not.
I hope not.
I hope he's not a good guy. I hope we can save that talk.
I hope we're not saying he's a good guy. So other things that stood out. Before we move on to the Champions Classic, or should we just dive right into it?
Let's just dive right into it. People want to hear this. Let's just jump on it.
Everyone's just like, why are you talking about anything
We're
else?
just trying to touch our bases. We last year we had one podcast. We didn't have enough time to talk about everyone. So now we just want to We want to pander to all the fan bases. We want to be a part of you. We want to talk about you.
What's going to happen, is people are going to complain. I can't believe you didn't talk about how Purdue beat Marquette.
What about Seton Hall in the Monmouth game? Did you watch that one?
Yeah, what about that? And did you see how Stony Brook gave UConn a good game and then UConn ended up pulling it out?
What about the midshipmen? You like Navy?
So let's get to the Champions Classic. So game one, start with the game that was to me was the game of the night. The score of the other game is what people said was the game of the night.
I thought, wow, I thought you were going to go the other way.
No, I'm saying Duke, Michigan State was the game of the night.
Yes.
But the other people might say the other game was the game of the night because it was actually like closer at the end.
Do you think Calipari pays people to do that, to say that?
Yeah.
It has to. I don't understand.
So Grayson Allen, career high, 37
points, yep.
Was left wide open a lot.
Yes.
Little concerning.
Beat me.
Little concerning. Marvin Bagley gets poked in the eye. Duke's other freshmen are kind of like Gary Trent didn't have a great game.
He hit a big three. So we're tied at 75. He hits the big three to get him up 78-75. That's probably the biggest play of the night. But we talked about Izzo running zone, and Coach K is losing his identity right now. Like everything,
very much losing identity.
He's playing a bunch of freshmen. First time ever he's doing that since like 1982. And he ran zone. Mark Titus. Have you ever in your life seen Coach K?
Yeah, he's done it before.
He has never opened up this early in the season.
He pulled this out, maybe not this early in the season. He pulled it out with the 2015 team. They were running zone.
Yeah, but that
won the national title.
I remember
that? Okay.
Yeah, it happened. But I'm just saying, for him to open a game like that, a big game on a national stage, and to run zone against Izzo.
Straight up zone like the whole game.
And I think that he messed with it. Like, I think it got in his head a little bit. I think Izzo was like, wait, like, that's my move.
What?
Like, why are you doing this to me? And then Bagley goes out. Delorier hits him in the eye, which we should say Javin Delorier, sophomore guy, didn't play a lot last year. He's someone to watch out. He's one of Grayson's good friends on the team. He's like a super high energy guy, did some stuff for them. He pokes Marvin Bagley in the eye just to get him out of the game for Grayson Allen to have this breakout performance in Chicago.
Another conspiracy.
To get drafted by Bob Myers, who was in the building. No, I'm kidding.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like you're kidding.
I'm kidding. I'm just joking. But I will say, Duke they just look legitimate. They look like the best team in the country. I know you love Wichita State, so I'm going to let you stand on that corner. But Duke is obviously the best team right now. They're running up and down. Grayson Allen is like making his case for player of the year. Right now, if you stopped and asked everyone, they'd probably say he is the player of the year.
Yeah. He did it on a big stage against the number 2 team. So yeah, Duke is very. I said this before. I feel like Duke, Michigan State, Arizona are the 3 teams that have the most talent. I think there's a sizable gap. Certainly watching that second game only drove that point home further. Watching those Kansas and Kentucky try to play basketball.
Let's be honest. Like we like a lot of those players on those teams, and they'll get better as the season goes on. They're not there.
They're not there yet.
No.
So for Duke to lose Bagley and still kind of I don't know how to phrase it. Like they had control of the game, it felt like, for most of the game. Even when Michigan State looked a little lost. Mm-hmm. Miles Bridges shooting a few too many threes for my liking. Do you
Let's call it the Nigel Hayes syndrome.
The Nigel Hayes syndrome. Should we overreact to Miles Bridges?
Yes. And we have said this. We said this on the preview pod, and I've been trying to hammer this point home. He's playing a different position.
He is playing a different position.
He's playing small forward. He's trying to be the 3. He's trying to catch the ball on the 3-point line and make a move and get inside and do all this stuff. And like, hey, buddy, go with what you know.
Go.
Put him at the 4. Jaren Jackson looked great tonight. He could stretch out at the 5. If you had Jackson being like the 6'11" dude that can stretch you out to the 3-point line, and Bridges at the 4, and maybe put Cassius at the 2 and have Tum in.
You need Nick Ward out there, though.
No, you don't.
Really?
Sorry, Nick. No, you don't. No, you don't.
You don't want Nick Ward out there going to his right shoulder with the left hand baby hook.
I think we've seen it. That's what I'm saying. I think we got it, Nick. I think we know your move. I think we get it. Cassius had a tough night.
Cassius, I'm going to be on this train. This is going to be my thing that I just kind of like, I get obsessed with. This happens every year with me. Like I notice something and I just can't let go of it. And for some reason,
hold on.
Why is Cassius Winston starting over Tum Tum? I don't understand it. I was watching Michigan State's first game against, I think they played North Florida, and Tum Tum.
I'm going to say because I have no idea.
You have no idea. So Tum Tum checks into the game, and the commentators then are saying the same things they're going to be saying all year. Is like, no, this guy comes off the bench, but he's the heart and soul. He's the leader. He's the senior. This is the guy that makes everything go for Michigan State, but he comes off the bench. So Cassius Winston can start, and I don't understand it, Tate. It was obvious tonight as soon as Tum Tum came in the game. Like Michigan State goes on that big drought in the first half. Tum Tum comes in the game. starts dishing out assists, controlling the offense. Then suddenly guys are hitting threes for Michigan State. It was weird how it worked out.
It's really weird that Cassius Winston has never figured out the tempo. Like he never, I feel like he always does the wrong thing. Like Izzo's always yelling at him. I always like to find the guys that Izzo is like super nice to and who he yells at.
Who he puts his arm, who the guys like get the arm
who's
around.
Like Jaren Jackson is like already in the like, come here,
put your arm around me.
Bend down, let's talk to each other for a second. Yeah. But like Cassius is like, what the? You know, like, what are you doing?
Does the foot stomp like you hit the sole of your dress shoe on the?
And he always does the wrong thing. So like, I just feel like he's not a point guard. He's playing out of position, and that's
they did that a little in the second half.
Yes.
They did Tum Tum at the 1, Cassius at the 2. I like that lineup.
Langford at the 3, Bridges at the 4, Greg Ward at the 5. Nick Ward at the 5.
Greg Ward. You're so out on Nick Ward.
I love Nick Ward.
You call it Greg. What else stood out from the Duke game? Like Duke looks very good. This was if you're a Duke fan, you're coming away from this tonight as excited as you could possibly be. I think the concern last year was or the concerns about this team maybe being similar to last year's team in that there's Grayson Allen, there's a ton of talented freshmen.
Yes.
Are we going to see a repeat of that? I feel like the answer is no, but as Tate brought up with his conspiracy theory, last year what kind of doomed Duke was the Tatum, Kennard, Allen dynamic of like who's the guy, who's the best player.
There's one basketball.
And as you're saying tonight, I actually think there's some validity to that. Like this certainly helped Allen. Like it was like, all right, this is my team. I'm gonna go here. And when Bagley comes back, I don't know.
It's weird. It's like you have to do this thing where do I defer to you or do you defer to me? And they have to figure out this role. I think the good thing with Bagley is that he's so young. I mean, the guy's like legitimately 18 years old. I don't think he's in this position where he wants to take shots away from Grayson.
Right.
Like Tatum came in and was like, I am
the problem with Tatum and Kennard both was what they both did well.
Yes.
Like I need the ball. I need to shoot.
I'm a better scorer than you. Why are you taking my shots?
And I think Grayson's fine with taking the back seat too. So like if Bagley comes back, he's like, I want to be the guy. I think Grayson's fine with it.
Well, that's the Grayson Allen narrative this year. For people that don't know, he wrote this whole Players Tribune piece. His whole point is, I played on the 2015 team. Quinn Cook was the leader of that team. Quinn Cook really was amazing for that team. He was the one that basically got those young guys to buy in the whole season. He is now the Quinn Cook of this team in his mind. Quinn Cook now in the Warriors, making me hate that team. Yeah.
Is he really in this league?
Yes. They replaced James Michael McAdoo, a consummate champion, with Quinn Cook.
He won 2 rings.
Come on. So that's Grayson Allen this year. Yeah,
Grayson Allen off to a great start. America is very excited to see that. Really rooting for that guy. Really hoping. I'm in two minds with this.
Yeah, what do you think about Duke?
I'm trying to make sense of like the Grayson Allen thing because it's like I don't want to apologize. I don't want to be a Grayson Allen, I don't know, fan. I wouldn't say that, but like how long are we going to carry that? Like there's the whole thing of like sports hatred versus real life hatred, and like how long is this guy going to be in the league for 10 years and people are going to be like, fuck him. I remember in 2016 he was tripping people that one time.
I don't
or
think
3 times, I guess.
I don't think that he has the visceral hatred.
And everyone's listening. Everyone's rolling your eyes right now listening to this. Understand what I'm saying. Hate Grayson Allen. Please hate him. I'm just trying to understand, like, does he have any hope at the redemption thing?
No.
And I guess, like, I'm becoming a softie where it's like, I want him to have hope at redemption, but I don't know. I'm working through this, Tate.
The only way that he has the redemption tour thing is if he does the JJ Redick thing, which is the image rehab, and it's going to be 6 years down the road, and he's going to do this.
That is true.
He's going to do this thing where he goes, you know what? I kind of was a jerk. You know what? It kind of wasn't cool that I tripped players. You know what? I kind of wasn't the best guy back then.
Right.
You know what? I want to be better.
I want to be better.
And that's exactly. And then everyone's oh, you know what? I kind of like JJ Redick. Oh, I kind of like Grayson Allen.
Because people, again, I'm already mad at the tweets I'm going to get and the people wrote. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say I'm a Grayson Allen fan and that like he doesn't deserve people to be mad at him. And you should definitely not cheer for him.
Any man that trips a guy named Santa Ana can't support.
I'm just trying to understand like how long are we going to go on with this?
It's a bit at this point.
It is kind of a bit. Like I think it's just cool that it's like, yeah, let's hate Grayson Allen.
I hate Grayson Allen. Cool, man.
So I don't know. I'm not necessarily cheering for him. I'm just very interested to see how it all unfolds. And how long people hold this grudge. So but But yeah, that's funny you bring up the Reddick thing. I was just thinking of our friends at Pardon My Take who make the thing, which by the way, like that's I'm going to bring up this other point, but I'm going to finish the point. The Pardon My Take guys would say the Duke guys go to the NBA and then they get tattoos or they grow their hair out and they always try to like distance themselves from the Duke thing, you know, like Reddick got the sleeve. That's why he got the sleeve, so he wouldn't be the Duke guy.
That's very specific to like 3 or 4 Duke players, but yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
But it like, I mean, Josh McRoberts does the thing with his hair, and Kyle
McRoberts is a Duke defector. Does not count. He's out.
Well, that's the whole point. Is like all of them get to the NBA and they're like, I don't want to be involved. All the white guys. It's obviously just the white guys because they have this image at Duke.
They're a stigma, like you are the Duke white guy.
Yeah. So credit to Pardon My Take. I know that you and I Pardon My Take guys invented making jokes about sports, and all the stoolies listening are going to give us hell for bringing that up without crediting them. So shout out to those guys. Second game.
Shout out to Christian Laettner. He owes like $15 million in taxes, so let's hope he pays that off one day.
Second game, Kansas, Kentucky. You and I going into this game thought that Kentucky was going to lose by 1,000. We watched Kentucky play in the first 2 games.
God, don't preface it like that.
I mean, I'm just trying to be honest. Like the first 2 games they played, they were not good. They're very long, very athletic.
Hold up. KSR Dan's calling me right now.
They're very long and athletic, and outside of that, I mean, there was Kevin Knox. He looked good to me in the first 2 games. He looked great tonight, by the way. I think he's
the best player on the team.
He pulled it. He kind of made a statement that like, this is my team. Let me be the guy. Let me.
He's the Tatum of Kentucky this year.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. But other than that, like I watched them play Vermont. I watched them play Utah Valley, and I was like, they got work to do. Cal even says that. So all the Kentucky fans are getting mad at us saying, your coach agreed. And it wasn't just like standard, like, I don't like my team stuff. It was like, guys, I really
He's getting
don't
ahead
like
of it. He's been all over ESPN. He's like, these are young guys. This is the youngest team. And I mean, you even hear, people don't understand this before they call these games. Like Dick Vitale, Jay Billis, Dan Schulman, Jay Williams, they all get in a room with these coaches and they have like 30, 45 minutes where they ask questions. They're like, well, what's PJ Washington looking like in practice? And Cal's like, he's my guy. I love his dad. Yeah. He's a hard worker. He knows basketball really well. He's a smart IQ, high IQ guy. I like to have him on the floor, blah, blah, blah. So they have all this intel beforehand. And every single person that's talked about the Kentucky Wildcats has said, this is the young, like, young Cal team. This is the youngest of the young. They're already ahead of that.
They're trying to sell it like the way you sell recruiting classes where you're like, you thought Andrew Wiggins was good. Wait till you see Ben Simmons. You thought Ben Simmons. That's kind of how we're doing with Kentucky. It's like, you thought the last team was young. No, this team is really young, guys. But they did grow up tonight. I don't know if you caught it. At halftime,
what?
Cal called them my guys twice.
Wait, what?
He gave these kids graduated at halftime to my guys. It was a big moment. And I don't know if like by losing they revert back to these kids.
Yeah, we need like someone to do some research. Like what happens? Chart. What is the pendulum of my guys to these kids?
That was very, very early call on my guys.
I think he was impressed that they were hanging around. So like they were down 1 at halftime.
So let's unpack our thoughts on this game again. We go into this game. We thought Kentucky was just too raw. We thought that Kentucky gave up a lot of threes to Vermont. Vermont didn't hit a ton of threes. I think they only hit 10 in that game, but they gave up a lot of like open shots. And we thought Kansas likes threes.
A lot.
Kansas is going to shoot threes. They're going to hit a lot of threes tonight. They're going to run Kentucky out of the gym. And then it comes down to my age-old theory, Tate. You got to make shots. Missing shots is bad. Making shots is good. Kansas was not making shots. They were getting wide open threes. Not really wide open, but like they were getting good looks. They were missing. Then they start forcing it. Newman's driving. 6'3" Newman is trying to take it in on
Newman.
On 7'5" guys, getting his shit pinned on the glass. Suddenly Kentucky just like made the game ugly, made it like we're long and athletic. That's what we're going to turn this game into, and we're going to get out in transition.
And that's what we talked about before the game. We basically said the only way that Kentucky is a team that can contend and compete for a title at some point, or make the Final Four run that they obviously plan to do every single year is Gilgeous-Alexander is the guy that ended up being their point guard. They took Quade Green out. He's sort of a smaller guy. They put Gilgeous-Alexander on Devontae Graham, who I have personally, vouched for and said I think he's going to be National Player of the Year. He's like Michael Carter-Williams. Like he doesn't do anything on offense, but he is long. And if you convince him to play defense, that's what he did tonight. Devontae Graham looked like he was lost. He couldn't get around him. He was trying to make plays, but just everything looked hard and difficult. Every pass was tough. They were doing a lot of isolation. Kentucky forced them to do that. Yeah,
they started. That was the weirdest thing. It's like if you just set ball screens, just set any screens, you'll get open shots because these guys like. this isn't degrading to Kentucky. It's just like the fact of college basketball is like young people do not know how to guard ball screens. That's why, I mean, even you can take even like smart high school kids and they come up into college and then you put them in blitz. You're like I remember when I got to Ohio State and the concept of a flat ball screen, which is like basically your shoulders are parallel to the baseline instead of like setting it straddling with your feet straddling the 3-point line. Yeah, it like blew my mind. I was like, how the hell do you guard this? Because you could just like the guy just turns his angle at the last second. These sorts of things happen with freshmen. It's like they don't know how to guard ball screens. They don't know how to guard any screens really, because their whole lives they've just been better than everybody. And I don't understand why Kansas didn't do that. It was like they felt like they had a mismatch because they had a taller guy guarding them, and Graham was like his brain just said,
I'm going to drive by him.
I have to drive by him. I'm faster than him because he's taller than me. So I'm going to drive by him, and then you're greeted at the rim by taller guys.
And the thing about it is the guy has a 7 whatever wingspan. He can catch up to you. So, like, he and Newman were doing the same thing where, like, they would beat him the first step, and then they'd do the spin move, which basically gave him more time to catch back up. And then Wayne Gabriel's just flopping his hands in the air, and he eventually hits the ball once in a while. Yeah, every once in a while.
So let's go over Kentucky's lineup that we like. We do not, because we do like some guys in Kentucky. We like Knox, obviously.
Yes.
He's great. He's going to be very, very good.
He's their 3. He's their starting small forward.
He's going to do some draft stock stuff, I think.
He's a top 5. It looks like he could be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, he looks like a top 5 guy. Diallo, I'm still trying to figure out like why I like him, but I do like him. I can't put a finger on why.
Here's my weird thing about Diallo. I think he might be a point guard.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Like I think that he might be the one that they just decide. Like Cal at some points, like Gilgeous Alexander is great on defense. Quade Green's not quite what we'd hope he would be at this point. He's more of a Teague type. Let's just give, like, Diallo's going to get the ball anyway. Like, just give him the ball to run sets and then, see what happens.
Let Diallo be the offensive point guard and Gilgeous Alexander be the defensive point guard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, he's basically your 2 guard, but he is your point guard.
So that's the lineup we liked, is Gilgeous Alexander, Knox,
Diallo, P.J. Washington,
and then we like Kalea Jones.
Yes,
he had a great game tonight.
Great sophomore year.
And this isn't hindsight 2020. You and I said this going into the game. Like we thought he should be starting over Nick Richards anyway, and I assume he will be next game. But
tough for Richards.
Yeah. So as for Kansas, they are short, is what we learned tonight. Or are they just short compared to Kentucky? Like, are we worried about Newman and Graham being just completely taken out of the game?
I just thought about this as you were mentioning the whole Kansas thing about setting ball screens for those guys. And then I'm racking my brain. I'm like, who's setting those screens
Who's
for
actually
them?
setting the screens?
Because Azubuike is like a traditional 5. Like, he's a big dude. Like, he's not going to come out and like set screens and also be a guy that can score in the paint. And a guy that would have done that, and we haven't talked about this yet, is Billy Preston, and a guy that's a freshman who would be their 4, who's like a 6'11", athletic, sort of like Jaren Jackson on Michigan State. If you pull him up and he's able to set screens and he's 6'11", Gilgeous Alexander's like, I'm tired of fighting over these screens with this dude, and he's quick enough to get up there, and so maybe that changes the way they look. But they just look small.
That's a good point, because right now with the lineup they have, those ball screens would just be like dribble handoffs basically. Yeah, and that's just like. Switch,
you could tell it. Just,
switch or just like get under it, or it's like those are easy to guard. Or inevitably there's an illegal screen and they call it and blow it the other way.
That was the other thing. I don't think they want Azubuike to get in foul trouble setting screens.
So Kansas, I mean, this is like the nightmare situation for Kansas. Was what happened tonight. This is what happened against Oregon in the Elite Eight. Is that you
missing shots?
Just missing shots. Sometimes that's what it comes down to. I make jokes about it. I can't tell if I'm making if this is shtick with when I say this or anymore.
I kind of like it because it's true.
It's so true.
And this is college basketball.
Like Kansas has 3s. They're missing them. The Ukraine maker was nice tonight.
Good for him.
We should talk about Svi.
Please, the floor is yours.
He's the X factor.
I'm still not sold.
Dare I say? So I have this theory about Kansas. I got a wild take. LeGerald Vick, who I thought was the X factor, he's the glue guy.
Wow.
Svi, the Ukraine maker, Mikhailuk, he's the X factor. And we saw it tonight because he's what, like 6'8"?
Yes.
And he can shoot over those guys. He can shoot over Kentucky's guys. Graham could not shoot over these guys.
That was a problem. It hurt Graham's draft stock for sure tonight.
That's why Svi is. That's why the Ukraine maker. I think he's important because this is going to happen again, where you're going to play another long athletic team. And
wait a second. Svi Mikhailuk is the X factor, and LeGerald Vick is the glue guy?
I know, it's backwards. It's backwards.
That's usually what they say.
That's usually not how it works. I understand. A lot of people are scratching their heads like, did he misspeak? I did not misspeak. I'm saying The white guy is the X factor, and the black guy is the glue guy. It's very weird. It's very strange. But Vic plays the defense. Yeah. That's what he's great at. He doesn't need to shoot a lot, but he will. He can. He gets in where he fits in. That's a glue guy. That's a glue guy mentality. X factor is like, this guy sucks a lot, and I wish he didn't suck quite as much as he does. But when he's good, goddamn, he's pretty good. And he makes our team very, very good. And that's, to me, the Ukraine maker. We were joking, like, going into the game, he's going to choke in these big spots because,
that's good stuff.
That's, like, how he operates. That's, like, what his MO is. That's why we, like, make fun of him and call him the Ukraine makers, because he has this reputation as being a great shooter. And then games like tonight, he would go 1 for 12, and we would all laugh and sarcastically call him Ukraine maker. But he actually played well tonight.
He played well tonight. He actually drove to the basket sometimes. He had a couple floaters. I was impressed.
So, Billy Preston. The story there.
Yeah, so Billy Preston, he's on campus. He's on Kansas campus. He's in a car. He gets in a car accident.
Give him context. Why does he matter? He's a 5-star guy.
He's a 5-star recruit,
went to Oak
6'11"
Hill.
guy. Yes, Oak Hill Academy, for people that don't know, it's like basically funnels out 5 stars for as long as you remember. Dating back to Carmelo Anthony and way even before that. So basically, Billy Preston.
Ivan Harris at Ohio State. Yeah, everybody remembers that.
Yeah, Ty Lawson, Kevin Durant. The list goes on and on. But so basically, Billy Preston gets to Kansas. He's an LA kid originally.
Right.
He goes to Kansas, which is there was already some stuff going on. He wasn't playing. This was supposed to be his first game, big moment, Chicago, get him out there. He's in a car on Kansas. He gets in a wreck, gets in an accident. No big deal. Things happen in life, whatever. And then it comes out he's going to get pulled out of this game. And this happened. He gets told this today
during the pregame meal.
That he's not going to be playing the game today because there's some things that they have to figure out on campus. As far as, first of all, how is he driving the car?
Yeah,
like they don't know whose car it is.
The way it was worded was very strange.
Yeah, basically it seems as if this car was not of his possession, and they don't know how or why he was driving it, and he's in an accident on campus, and now it's become a whole thing.
You hear guy gets in crash, gets suspended from game.
Yeah.
You think DUI.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, isn't that the first thing?
Yeah.
If we're being honest, like a guy gets in a car accident, gets suspended, you're like, oh, he must have got a DUI.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they said.
No.
And that makes it like sort of, but they won't say what it is. It's like it's something to do with the car. And then on the other hand, so you have that like right here. And then on the other side, you have the FBI thing with the Adidas thing. And Kansas is going to be, there's going to be speculation about Kansas. Like you and I already started it. We love speculating about Kansas dropping the bag. We started when talking about Carlton Bragg and like that situation.
And that was sort of all tongue-in-cheek jokes, but now...
It's not really jokes. I mean, if you're like the whole point of the FBI thing is that you're supposed to speculate like that.
It's not a game.
Those
guys.
of us as fans who are uninformed, like this is what you do with the FBI thing. It's like the FBI has basically handed us a free reign to speculate on stuff.
Yes,
we are now.
And they said it. They said we have your playbook.
Yeah,
get ready.
So that's what Tate and I are going to do. Is we're going to say like what guys are getting 5 stars. Oh, that guy's dropping the bag. This guy's dropping the bag. Mm-hmm. Duke is landing 3 number 1 recruits 3 classes in a row. Huh. Weird. Go ahead.
No. I can finish
I'm going to finish the point is that you have the speculation of Kansas because the FBI thing was centered around Adidas.
Yeah.
A lot of the main Adidas schools were hit. The obvious outlier of like main Adidas schools that was not hit was the Indiana Hoosiers. The other obvious outlier was the Kansas Jayhawks. And everyone's like, okay, so you're hitting these Adidas schools. What does that mean for Kansas, who is the school landing the 5-star?
Yes.
If we're talking about Adidas funneling 5 stars somewhere, Kansas has to be involved in this somehow, right? And then now this Billy Preston thing happens. And I'm sorry, Kansas fans. I'm just saying, if your mind doesn't connect the two, you need a new mind. That's the obvious conclusion to be drawn from this. I don't think Billy Preston should be suspended for any more games until we know more facts. I'm a #JustFacts guy.
Show us the facts.
I need more facts. I'm not ready to say we should do anything about this. But as a man who makes a living in the speculation business, I'm speculating. I got a lot of speculation going on here. Now for your point, Tate.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you. That's all that matters. We were just explaining the bag thing, so I was like, I wanted to bring up our new segment. You know?
Oh yeah, let's do our new segment. We have a new segment. We're gonna do because people love talking about dropping the bag.
Yeah, we love the bag.
This is our beat. This is the thing that like no one else in college basketball media wants to talk about.
Birkin bags, duffel bags, whatever bag you got.
And
Louis
for those
Vuitton
of you
bags.
who are just tuning in for the first time and don't understand the drop the bag thing, the idea is that back in the day, in the Sam Gilbert era, UCLA basketball, what you do is how it works.
I'm hiding because of the ghost of John Wooden.
You fill up a duffel bag with non-consecutive, unmarked $20 bills. You take that duffel bag to church with your family.
Yes.
You're sitting in service, praising the Lord. You set the duffel bag next to the pew. You go through the service. You know, maybe someone's getting baptized that day.
Yes.
You do the tithes and offerings. You get up, you leave church, you forgot your bag. I don't know what happened. The bag stayed there. You go back to find it, and it's gone. And no one knows what happened to it.
Because you dropped it.
Because you dropped it. You just dropped it. And then
sometimes you drop the ball, sometimes you drop the bag.
And then, you know, somehow suddenly a recruit is driving a nice car. And we're not saying. It just kind of came together.
Have you met this young man, Lou? Oh, Lou Alcindor. Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves basketball.
So that's the way it used to work back in the day, is you just drop the bag full of cash. And now guys have gotten smarter and technology's improved.
Or have they?
Have they?
We're not sure. But regardless, we're gonna talk about bagmen all the time.
Some guys have gotten smarter. So Tate and I love talking about dropping the bag. People love it because no other college basketball media really likes to talk about it. We have Dick Vitale on the broadcast tonight being like,
baby.
What?
And you're funneling to the agents.
What was happening? This was happening in college. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
We joke that Dick Vitale probably believes that Disney movies are true. So he watches Bambi and is like, I freaking love that Bambi.
So while the rest of the world is surprised that this stuff's going on, Tate and I are not. So we're starting a new segment. It's called, you want to introduce it? This was Tate's idea.
This is called Good Guy, Bad Guy, Bad Guy.
Bad guy. So I don't know if you heard it. Good guy, bad guy, bag with a G guy.
Bad guy.
So we're going to do our good guy, which, by the way, we should mention this too.
We don't do hot seats here.
We don't do hot seats. The way you do it is you say the coach is a good guy.
Yes.
You don't say
Bruce Weber at Illinois when he left. Good
great
guy.
We made this point already. For those of you in the preview podcast, you already listened to it. But we, I don't know if you heard, we hit number 1, so we got some new fans. So we're trying to explain it to them. So our good guy of the week, Steve Prohm, Iowa State.
Congrats. First time inaugural good guy.
Loses to Missouri, 74-59. Michael Porter doesn't play. Missouri is at
2
Missouri.
minutes. Yeah.
Michael Porter still probably not a great. Kind of hoping for better. We knew Iowa State was going to have a down year, so that's not that bad. Turns around, loses to Milwaukee, 74-56. Loses by 18 to Milwaukee. Iowa State currently sitting at 0-2.
This is coming off a year where they had Deontay Burton in this nice run. I mean, obviously they had the Niang year. I mean,
right? They won the Big 12 conference tournament last year.
Yeah, Iowa State's been great.
Yeah.
You know, so you expect great things from them. So
right now, Steve Prohm is a very good guy. We'll just say he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Our bad guy. Who's your bad guy of the week?
Bruce Pearl. Boy, bad guy.
Kind of a bad guy.
And it's not for trying. You know, I think he does well. I think he gets out there and says some things. Bruce Pearl. We got Auburn. We got this Chuck Person situation. He was one of the original ones in the FBI situation, FBI indictment. And they have 2 more guys, the video coordinator and his top assistant, like the guy that basically handles all of his stuff. Like every coach has one guy where you just delegate everything to, basically. So those 2 guys are now involved in the investigation. They've been pulled out. Auburn says, all right, we got a problem here, folks. Let's investigate. Bruce Pearl, we need you to be a part of the investigation. We obviously need to investigate you. He's like, no, I'm all right.
Ooh.
I'm okay.
Interesting.
You can't investigate me. You can't have any of my stuff. I don't need you to investigate me. I'm out. So now Auburn's in this predicament of like, well, we're doing, an investigation. He's not going to comply with it. Do we get rid of him?
Yeah.
Charles Barkley comes out and says, if you get rid of Bruce Pearl, that's going to set us back 5 years.
Yep.
What do you do
with a bad guy? What do you do with the bad guy? This is a bad guy. Steve Prohm, good guy. He's a very good guy.
Good guy.
He's just not winning right now.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Bruce Pearl, not so much. That's a bad guy. And we're also talking about a guy who ratted on Illinois.
Yeah.
What was that, like in 1989? I think that was what he got famous for.
This is
like
he's
Bruce
been around
Pearl,
the block of bad guys.
This is gonna live with Bruce. I mean, this is the Bruce Pearl story. It's like he was a whistleblower on Illinois and was trying to throw them under the bus, and then now he has the Aaron Craft barbecue at Tennessee. He has this at Auburn. I mean, this is gonna. It's hard not to just laugh at any time Bruce Pearl gets caught up in NCAA stuff based on what happened.
And I am sorry to Rick Pitino, who I really wanted to be the first bad guy, but he's like too good for that.
Yeah, Rick Pitino's listening like, damn, I thought I had it.
Like,
I thought I had the bad guy of the week.
I worship the floor that my players walk on.
So our bad guy.
Yes.
BAG guy.
BAG guy of the week.
Who do you think? Who? Because you and I had different opinions. Or did we settle on the same one?
No, we did. Is Bryce Drew a good recruiter?
Bryce Drew. Thank you. That's what I thought. I forgot. You were trying to. Okay, sorry.
I was trying to pull you away, Titus. I'm trying to lock you back in.
Bryce Drew landed a 5-star recruit, Darius Garland.
Yes.
I don't follow recruiting.
No.
I do know this guy because Indiana was after him. First 5-star recruit.
Speaking of bad guys.
First 5-star recruit in Vanderbilt history, I think. Congratulations to Bryce Drew dropping the bag.
Homer would be proud.
Jake Diebler, John Diebler's brother, is on staff there. By the way. Yeah, so it might have been a Diebler dropping the bag. Congratulations to Jake Diebler. Great bag drop on this one. Please don't do it for Romeo Langford. The Hoosiers need Romeo Langford. They just got their shit pushed in by Indiana State.
And they got another guy, Simi Shitu, who is also.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I didn't curse at you. I don't curse. I'm trying to be the Dean Smith of podcasting. But yeah, he's another one that might be a 5-star that jumps in there. So you got Langford, you got Garland, you got Shitu.
Vanderbilt?
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
I don't know, but I will say Garland. There was a report that he went to Homer Drew's camp as a kid, and that's what really drove him over the edge to want to go play for.
Yeah, Bryce. I mean, this one actually makes sense. Garland didn't he grow up in like northern Indiana? And
he grew up in Indiana, Gary, Indiana, I think.
By Valpo, so he's got the whole Valpo thing. And
yeah.
But still, we just like making fun of bad guys.
Bad guys.
Dropping the bag. Congratulations to Bryce Drew. So that pivots us into the next thing. If we're talking about Vanderbilt, if we're talking about Vanderbilt being successful, that can only mean one thing.
Yes.
It's time to talk about Kevin Stallings not being successful. Stallball is off to a fantastic start.
Unprecedented, honestly, at Pitt. They may be the worst team in basketball.
We knew they were going to be bad. They were even worse than I anticipated. They start off 0-2. They lose to Navy and Montana. I think in the Montana game, I think the tweet I saw was like their first field goal in the second half was like basically halfway through the second half. They're off to a bad start. This is good for us though.
It's good for Jared Wilson Frame, the one guy I put in research for. I think he's going to do well. I think he had 15 points in that game.
What I'm excited, what I think is hysterical is that like Pitt fans don't even care. Like they're just like, just burn it to the ground. Who cares?
I looked at on Twitter, like when Pitt, the basketball account tweeted out like the final score of that game, and I just read all the responses to it, all the Pitt people. The amount of people that are so upset. Like the split between people that blame Kevin Stallings and blame Jamie Dixon for the current predicament is unbelievable, and they respond to each other. But Jamie recruited so and Cam Johnson.
Can we blame Scott Barnes, who was the athletic director at Pitt, who hired Stallings and then just got out of town immediately?
Yeah, genius.
Have to deal with it.
Genius.
And now by the time everyone figures out, they're looking at the paperwork and be like, "Who hired this guy?" And he's literally on the other on the other side of the country at Oregon State now.
It's like, I'm doing all right.
What?
Wait, what?
So yeah, we're gonna try to. We're not gonna talk about Stallings every podcast, but people.
When we need to. When he's 0-2 and he lost to Montana and Navy,
we kind of like made a big thing about it. I saw a Pittsburgh like beat reporter or something. Like I saw him tweet a link to our podcast, and he's like, Pitt makes the top 25 of One Shining Podcast. Congrats, guys.
It was a lot of people that thought that we legitimately put them in our top 25.
We're not going to talk about them all the time, but yeah, when we talk about them like that, and then they get off to an 0-2 start, and it's looking bad. It was just too funny.
I think Shamel Stevenson should just go ahead and transfer. He's pretty good. I literally watched a little bit of Pitt play just because I want to see Kevin Stallings coach, and that game went to overtime, by the way.
Let's wrap this up with another segment we're going to start doing. So Tate and I, we don't pretend to know everything about college basketball. We pretend to know more than you, who are listening.
You.
But the individual you. I don't mean the collective you. I mean you, the personal you.
I'm speaking to you right now.
I'm speaking to you. We just know more than you. But what people love is when Tate and I forget stuff. When we mess up. We are not infallible. We're not perfect. So we decided Tate loves the soundbite from Superbad. We're just gonna play it right now.
Fuck you, man.
Hey, Greg, why don't you go piss your pants again?
That was like 8 years ago, asshole.
People don't forget.
People don't forget. So that's our segment, is People Don't Forget. And this is our way of paying back to our fans, our listeners, as saying,
you are the people that
people that did not forget. Tate and I are the people that forgot. You are the people.
We are Greg. We are playing soccer.
Yes.
You were the cool kids, and you were making fun of us.
And you are letting us know we didn't forget. So on our preview podcast, I said that Utah State was in the WCC. I was going through St. Mary's. I said St. Mary's is going to have some tough games this year on the road in the WCC. They're going to have to play at BYU. That's a tough place to play.
Yep.
At Utah State is a tough place to play.
And it is.
Utah State is a tough place to play. However,
However,
Utah State is in the Mountain West.
Yes.
So congrats.
Sorry.
People do
Sorry,
not forget that. We forgot it. Also, we forgot to mention that Kansas always loses at West Virginia. We said that Kansas loses at Iowa State every year. We said that Kansas loses at Oklahoma State. The people did not forget that Kansas also loses at West Virginia, and they've seen country roads.
And if you go back to the Teed Up days, and if you're a true fan, you would know that we always made that joke. So I think we made it so many times we didn't want to make it anymore.
Yeah, we wanted the new brand. But people also did not forget that Merrill Shayok transferred from Virginia.
You know that weird thing about transferring?
And when we were talking about Iowa State, we were like, yeah, Shayok from Virginia. We like him. He's gonna do good things for Iowa State.
Sorry, Steve Prohm.
He's not going to do good things for Iowa State this year. He's going to sit out because he transferred. And that's how transfers work. People don't forget that.
I wanted to tweet Mario Shayok was invisible in the Iowa State game, and that's because he cannot play.
And then our last people don't forget. I'm going to let you take this one, Tate, because this was your doing.
Oh yeah, this is. So I put it out there that Cal only takes care of his guys that are like doing well. Like Devin Booker breaks some record for sophomore. It's always the weirdest thing that he gets excited about. But I mentioned Darius Miller, and honestly, the reason I mentioned it is because I think I had seen him tweet about Darius Miller in my mind. I just put it back, and I was like, my God, he tweets about Darius Miller. That's insane. But the first person I brought up was Daniel Orton in Brazil. So don't forget about that. But I do apologize to Darius Miller. He's doing good things. He's playing basketball still.
Tate was trying to mention guys that Cal
would never mention,
yes.
And
then
Marcus Teague.
And then was it last? Yeah, like Marcus Teague. Marcus Teague's a good example.
Or Ryan Harrow.
Ryan Harrow is a good example. Eloy Vargas.
Yes.
That's a great example.
Even Cantor. I've never seen him say anything about Cantor.
Yeah, Cantor. People actually do forget that Cantor went to Kentucky. I forgot that until you just mentioned that.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Thanks.
So Darius Miller makes the Darius Miller comment. And then Darius Miller blows up.
I'm
for
sorry,
21
Darius
points Miller, and all of that. So anyway, that's we got anything else we need to cover?
No, I'm just excited.
That's pretty much it. College basketball's here. We're not doing the previews. We're actually talking about the games. This is where you and I thrive. We're excited for this. I'm sure we forgot some stuff. So if we forgot anything,
please tweet
at us.
One Shining
at
Podcast.
One Shining Pod.
Oh, One Shining Pod. No cast.
One Shining Pod. At Tate Frazier.
Yes.
At Club Trillion.
Yes.
Let us know what we forgot. Because you, the people, do not forget. And we're going to do some good guys, some bad guys, some bad guys. We're just going to have fun. I don't know. Maybe we'll do the segments all the time. Maybe we won't. We're kind of figuring it out. This is fun. We hope you join us all season.
And go to iTunes. You have to subscribe, and then you have to unsubscribe, and then you have to subscribe.
Should I do a rant? I'm going to do a rant for the Barstool people that think there's some sort of this is probably going to get cut. Kyle's got his head on his hands right now. And I'm going to fight for this to not get cut.
Please God, let me go home.
This Barstool situation of there's a rivalry between Barstool and the Ringer, and Tate and I don't play that game. Tate and I just like college basketball and making fart jokes. And for the Barstool people that are trying to give us 1-star reviews and drive our shit down, no.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it.
We're friends. We're all friends.
Stop it.
Just stop it. Just leave us alone. Go do your thing somewhere else. If you're actually that big of a Barstool fan, you know I go on Pardon My Take every now and then and talk college hoops. There's no animosity here. So that's it. So that probably got cut. All right, Tate, so let's wrap this up. Anything else before we go? No, that's it.
One Shining Podcast.
One Shining
Thank you for listening.
We will be back Friday. We're coming back Friday.
Friday.
We're doing this twice a week all season. That's the podcast. Thanks for joining us. Save the crew.